Hello everyone, welcome to a new video of the indicator store of the series Do It Yourself. And today we are going to review how to automate indicators, mainly the one that we saw on the last video, the edge. But also apply it to any indicators. And we can see also the different type of indicators that we can encounter. For example, the edge is very simple to automate. We are going to test the edge, reversal and parabolic. The parabolic is included with NinjaTrader. So let me place the rest of indicators in transparent. So we are only watching the edge. And what I want to automate are those signals, those red triangles. It doesn't matter if the parameters are okay or no. Maybe we can adjust to have a long signal here. But the idea is, how can I automate those signals with the current parameters? Those triangles are plots, no objects. If you click on the middle button, you can see that here we have a signal down. Again, this is not a triangle like for those who automate with markers. It is not a chart object, a triangle down. You can see it is very different. When you double click an object, you get the drawing object window. Instead, when you double click this triangle, it is a plot and you get the parameters of the indicator. And here we can see that we can select the settings of each plot. You can also change the settings, the signals. But the idea is, how can we automate those signals on Builder? Because on markers it's very simple. I only need to copy with markers copy. Let me show you one example. Let's say I want to automate those signals with markers. I only need markers copy. One for each signal. One for longs. For example, go long is the name of my fast signal. This is a fast signal, not a line. A signal to trigger markers. And inside input series, we place the indicator with the settings. The TIS edge. And if all those parameters are equal to what I have on the chart, the signals should match. Now I need to select the plot. The plot I want to copy is the signal up. If everything is matching, the parameters of the indicator and the parameter of the copied indicator, then those dots of the markers copy should overlap on with the signals of the indicator, like here and here. Those blue dots are from the copy. And now we need to do the same with the shorts. Instead of go long, go short. There is a trick to repeat this. So we can right click and copy a signal and then paste that signal. So now we have two copies with the same settings. Now we only need to change the name. Go short. It is also a fast signal, and inside input series we already have the indicator with all the parameters. We only need to change the plot. Instead of signal up, signal down. Now the blue dot of this indicator should overlap with those red triangles, as we can see here. And that's all. Now we have go long and go short. So with markers we can automate those signals. Just select the fast signal mode, type the name of the fast signals, and that's all. The rest is as usual. Select an ITM, select an account, etc. Now, how can we do this on Builder? Let's remove everything unrelated with the indicator. So nothing related with markers. It is almost the same. So we need to copy that plot. For example, let's go to New, Strategy Builder, and we are going to create a strategy to automate those signals. You may say why, no? Because if we have markers, why I am going to automate with builder? The idea is with the builder strategy, we can use strategy analyzer and we can create reports and optimize parameters. Something that we are going to review on another video. Instead, with markers uses ATM orders, and ATM orders are not compatible with strategy analyzer. So new strategy, type a name with edge. I think I already have this. Yes. So different name. Test demo. We are working at work close, and on the input parameters, the main parameters are target with a default value and stop, also with a default value. But the indicator has more parameters to define. Mainly the period of the EMA and the number of bars of the Donchian. I usually take a screen capture of the parameters, and the main parameters that we have is the Donchian period, the EMA period, the setup mode, it was 1, 2 or 3, the type of the filter. No filter is 0, and then we have 1, 2 and 3. And then if we want to repeat or not signals, it is another number from 0 to 3. So we have 1, 2 or 3, 0 to 3, and 0 to 3. Usually, any parameter that has an indicator, I want all of them in my strategy, just in case I want to automate something. So let me take a screen capture of the parameters, because now we need to add all of them in the strategy. Those same parameters, I want them on the strategy, so we can set the settings, and also we can optimize the settings. So we have the period of the Donchian or the EMA by default 50, the period of the Donchian by default 8. Then we have the filters, the setup mode is 1, 2 or 3, so the minimum is 1, and the default is also 1. Then we have the bar filter. The values are from 0, no filter at all, to 3, both filters applied. So bar filter with a minimum of 0. A default of 0, no filters. Then the repeat filter. If I want to repeat one time per color change, or one long and one short. So this is the repeat filter. The minimum is 0, no repeat all of them, no filter, and a default value of 0. So there's only one with a minimum value of 1, because we need to select setup or 1 or 2. The rest can be 0, no filter. All of these are the parameters inside of the indicator. So now we can create the conditions. We only need 2 tabs, one for longs and another for shorts. The condition for a long is when the indicator, now we need to search the indicator in the indicator list, TIS edge here, and we need to fill all the parameters, or if I place a number, the user cannot change the number, and also we cannot optimize. Instead, if we link or attach this to an input parameter, for example, the period Donchian, with the input parameter period Donchian, period EMA with period EMA, and so on. The name of the parameters don't need to be the same, but it is easier if they are equal. Okay, we have all the parameters linked to the input parameter strategy, to the input parameters of the strategy. And now we need to select the plot. This indicator has several plots, the EMA, the upper part of the Donchian, the lower part of the Donchian, but I want to look at the long signals. And which is the value of that? Nothing when there is no signal, the price where it is painted, the signal, and I want to detect when there is a signal. So when this is not equal to 0, it means the signal is painted somewhere. So when this is true, it means we have one of those up triangles. When this is true, we can place enter long, but usually I prefer to test with signals, painted signals, instead of orders, just for checking that everything is fine. The easiest signal to paint is painting the background, and now we can duplicate the tab and create the shorts. Change the color for a short signal, and on the condition, the only thing that we need to change is the plot. The same as we did with markers. We copy and paste and then just edit, change the plot. Instead of the long signal, short signal. Short signal not equal to 0 means that we have a short signal. And that's all. It should be painting. We can compile. And now we don't need this anymore. If we apply the strategy to the chart and the parameters of the strategy match with those from the indicator, it should paint signals on the same place. Let's try if it works. The name of the strategy was with edge demo. No, this is the one that I had before. Which was the name? Okay, we can check on the builder which was the name going back. We test demo. Okay. So we can test that strategy with test demo. Here. And the parameters are 50 for the period, 8 for the Donchian, also matching. The setup is not matching, and the filters are 0, so it is also not matching. Now the strategy is disabled. If I enable the strategy on the strategies tab, we can see it is painting signals, painting the background on the signal. Not exactly the same, but here is one missing, because the indicator is using different parameters. The setup is looking at the 3. 3 are both setups at the same time, 1 and 2. On the strategy, we are looking at setup number 1. And also the filters. I guess on the strategy I have no filters at all, 0 and 0. So on the indicator setup 1, no filters, and now we get the exact same signals than the strategy. Just to make it more complex, let's use completely different parameters. Let's try to make this EMA faster so we get a long here. Maybe we need a faster moving average. Let me check. 45, no. 40, also no. Maybe 30 something. Not yet. 30. Yes, now we have a signal. All the setups, 3. And also we can filter only the first per cycle. When it is red, it is looking for a short. And let's paint only the first. So repeat filter equal to 2. 1 trade per cycle. Okay, now we want to do that on the strategy to make it match. On the strategy, we need to place the same parameters. The period is 30. The setup mode, the repeat filter is 2, and the setup mode is 3. And now we get the same signals. The only is doing this strategy is painting. So now we can add orders where we paint the background in blue, we add an enter long, and on the other tab we add an enter short. But now that we placed orders, we also need a target and a stop. So on the following step, we add a profit target in ticks attached to the input parameter target. So we can edit the target from outside. And also a stop. In ticks, defined by the input parameter stop. Okay, compile. And now, if we enable, it should place historical calculated orders. So it is painting and also placing orders. But the problem is, this is Nasdaq on 5 minutes, so 10 ticks is too small. We can use the ruler to have an idea which is the average size. This is 400 ticks. So we can change the strategy. Let's change the parameters of the strategy to 400 versus 400, for example, instead of 10 and 10. 400 for the target, 400 for the stop. Enable, and now we can see that here we have an entry. It is closing the previous short, so that not working short, instead of leaving this going to the stop, it reverses the short and entered long, and we get the average target that we can see here, 400 ticks. And this is how we can create a strategy with an indicator that has everything done. We only need to copy the plots. Now let's see one just a little more complex. Let me remove the edge, and the following indicator is the reversal. We can leave the same strategy because the name is not related with any indicator. The reversal. The complex part of this indicator is, one, it has a lot of parameters, and it is also placing arrows. The reversal is, of course, as the name shows, it is trading reversal, so it is always against the trend. Anyway, we can filter signals. For example, here we have a long, and the market is going up in the long time frame, no? So we can try to go short when it is going down, go long when it is going up. For example, in this downtrend, we can take these shorts, and for that, we can use the filter. This indicator includes a filter, looking at the linear regression period. And we can select if using or not using the filter, and also the period of that. Here we can see it is taking only shorts when the market is going down, and only longs when going up. Now, where is the complex part of this? Because all of them are parameters that we can attach to the strategy. So let's convert this strategy to reversal. Okay, so let's remove everything. And the logic. Okay, so we have an empty strategy, only painting signals. And the parameters are also different. The only useful is the target and the stop, but we don't have setup, bar filter, etc. Now, which are the parameters? Following the same procedure, we can take a capture of the parameters. This is the reversal. And we have one of the most important parameters if I want or not to filter this parameter, and also the period of the linear regression filter. And then also important is the overbought and oversold levels. Let's say that I am only interested in optimizing overbought, oversold, and filter. So we have overbought, oversold, filter on off, and period of the filter. 4 parameters. So overbought, let's say 80. Oversold, 20. The minimum is 0. And overbought also, the minimum is 0. Then we have the filter. We have the period of the filter. By default here is 100. And also we have an input parameter to define if I want or not use the filter. So use filter. It is not an integer, it is true false, boolean. So the user selects if using or not the filter. By default, false. Now we go to the logic. Now we need to look at the indicator, reversal, at the plot of the signal that we want to automate. TIS reversal. The last release is 2023. And the plot I want to check is signal up or signal RVO. The unconfirmed is turned off. Here we have the RVO. The RVO are the arrows and the signal up are the dots. They are not always together like here. Let's say I want to automate the arrows, the signal RVO. So I select RVO up, and as always I want it to be not equal to 0, so it is present. But the rest of the parameters we need to attach them to the input parameters. Here we have the filter. The period of the filter is this. And then we have if I want to use or not the filter. But there is no attach to. We can hard code the value, but there is no way to attach this to an input parameter on a true false. So how can we do with all true false input parameters? There's one way, but let me finish with the rest of the parameters. The overbought and oversold. The oversold and overvote. So now we have linked all the parameters that we want to use and optimize. But what I place here, use filter or not? Let's say I don't want to filter, okay? And also we can add the condition that the user is not interested in filtering. So we can add the condition that use filter is false, miscellaneous false. So this is only going to be true when the user is not interested in filtering, and we already hard-coded the value of false inside the indicator. The problem is, and when the user wants to filter, okay, we need to duplicate and do everything again with the filter on. So instead of false, it is true. And inside the indicator, we hard-code the true condition on the use filter at the top here. Okay. So what's the difference between this and this? The input parameter of the filter is true or false, and the input parameter of the indicator true or false. So for each true-false parameter of the indicator, we need to duplicate the number of the tabs to hard-code the different values of the indicator. Because there is no way to link an input parameter, a boolean input parameter inside an indicator. And for the shorts, now we have the two longs, no? Longs filtered and unfiltered. So now we can duplicate and convert these two short, unfiltered shorts. The only difference is the plot. So here at the bottom, we select signal RVO down, not equal to 0, of course. We change the color or the order if we are placing orders. And now we need the same for the filter option. So we duplicate this and change this to true, use filter, and also hard code inside the indicator the value true here. We want it to filter using that period. In total we have 4 tabs. Instead of 2, now we have 4. Long and shorts with filter and long and short without filter. Imagine if we have several 2 parameters, for example, true, false. We need to duplicate all the tabs each time we have an input parameter with boolean options. Or if you want, you can also open the code. This is one way. Once you open the code, there is no way to go back to Builder. If you want to do a change, you need to do the change from the script. Here it is easier because, as we can see, here we have 2 calls to the indicator, one with false and another with true. But in reality, we only need one. And inside here, we just place the input parameter. So the input parameter is use filter here. So that use filter can be copied here. So we only need 2 tabs, one for longs and one for shorts. But this is only if you are interested in using NinjaScript. Even so, it is really simple because we don't need to create any logic. We just need to check if the indicator is or not painting signals. The problem is when the indicator has no signals at all, like the third and last example. Let's remove the reversal and analyze the parabolic Psar. It has 3 parameters. And let me copy them The three parameters are, they have decimals, so they are not integers, they are double. And the problem is this indicator is not showing signals. We know that the signal is when this is going up or down on the change, we have a signal. Here is a long, here is a short, a long, and so on. But the indicator is never showing that. It is just drawing a line. I need to create the logic. How can I do that? Well, it is not so difficult because the idea is the price is over or below the line. Even more, when the price crosses the line from the top to the bottom, for example, if I want to do that with markers, I can copy that line, the parabolic Psar. Again, markers copy, but not a fast signal because I am not copying a signal. This indicator has no signals, so I copy as a variable, for example, parabolic Psar. So it is a variable, not a signal. And inside input series, we place the indicator. The parabolic Psar with the same parameters, and we get the dots of the copy overlapping with the original indicator. And now the easiest to do is detecting crosses between the price and the line, because the closes are over the line and then they go below the line. So with just a marker crossover between the close on the current bar versus the Psar. This is the name that we used on copy, Psar on the current bar. This is the result. We don't need the result, but we need to place a variable here, result for example, and I don't want a threshold, so let's make it simple. We paint crossovers up, crossover down, painting the background, and we get this. And exactly the same is what we can do on Builder. So the parameters, and let's remove everything. Let's remove all the tabs. And only painting the background when now we need to add the parameters. Target and stop are okay, but the rest of the parameters is not related with this indicator. They are acceleration maximum, and acceleration step, and all of them have decimals, so they are double. Acceleration, by default it is a double, and by default 0.02 with a minimum, I don't remember the minimum, I think it is slightly bigger than 0, but we can place a 0 here. Then acceleration max, we cannot place spaces here. Double, by default 0.2, the minimum is 0. I am not sure, but we can use a 0. And the acceleration step, also a double, 0.02, minimum of 0. And now we can write the logic. The only way that to detect those signals are when the price, the close, crosses the line. So when the close, it is inside price, crosses above the indicator parabolic Psar and we attach the three parameters: acceleration, acceleration max, and finally acceleration step. Okay, and okay, that's all, because it has only one plot. When there is a cross above of the close versus the line, we have a long signal. We can duplicate and change only, instead of a cross above, a cross below. Everything else is equal. Change the color, like this. Compile again, because it was the reversal previously. And now, if we enable, we get the same signals. So, on the same way, we can place an enter long, enter short, and now we can optimize any of the parameters of any of the setups that we saw. We are going to review that on a future video. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.